Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Smason, and welcome once again to NOLA Theater Talk. We took a little bit of a hiatus for what would have been around the normal time when we would have had Mardi Gras. I had some personal issues facing me, some family health issues. Things have improved, and nothing really affecting me directly, but again, within the family. And there were some issues that were going on, and I wanted to take some time to be, with the family members and to see us through that particular crisis. But things, as I say, are back on track. Again, we're going to be showing up as we regularly have been on Monday and Friday evenings henceforth, trying to get ourselves situated in such a way that we'll be able to have a number of programs of interest to our local theater community, as well as those of you who happen to check in from out of town. We hope that what we're doing here in New Orleans is indicative of what people should be doing all over the country. I'm going to be making some comments in just a little bit about some of the productions that we've seen recently and what our theaters are doing. But they're all anxious to get back, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Those of you who are watching the show tonight may be watching it on the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, or possibly on our theatercriticism.com Facebook page, not to be confused with the theatercriticism.com Facebook, website. So this is the Facebook page that supports that website. And of course, on my own YouTube channel, those of you who want to pass on the fact if somebody wants to watch these broadcasts and they're not a member of Facebook, here's where they can see them, and they can see them all for free on YouTube. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about what's been happening. And at 8:30 tonight, unfortunately, we couldn't get her on any earlier because, like many people, some people are doing double duty. And our guests later on this evening will be none other than Carol Eshelman. Carol, who had been recently involved with the Genesians over at Rummel, is now going to be working with another group, which we'll talk about, called Open Call Theater Company. And she'll be able to explain a little bit about what that's all about when she gets here. Again, we expect her in about a half an hour, and we hope that you'll stick around for that. Again, today being the 15th of March, the Ides of March, I remembered, I said, it's a beautiful day out there. You know, what could possibly go wrong on March the 15th, the Ides of March? And those of you who know the reference, of course, to that little Shakespearean tragedy of Julius Caesar know full what I'm talking about. Again, those of you who are interested, we are going to do our very level best to bring you up to snuff in terms of what's going on with theater. Let me just say that the Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts are busy working on projects. They've had several shows of interest. The Disney's Descendants show is about to go on the boards now, and they've been busy trying to get some of the younger set exposed to theater, and it's not easy to do so under the current COVID restrictions in which audiences are limited. They had been limited to 25%, and at 25%, it's very difficult to be able to make ends meet for theater companies, to essentially achieve their bottom line. 50% is probably, again, still not quite there. Once you get up past the 75% occupancy, then you're actually in a point where you can begin to turn the corner. So we haven't yet gotten to that. We're hoping that the state's restrictions will be relaxed a little bit further, and that the restrictions that have been so severe here in Orleans Parish will be relaxed as we move forward. Again, all of this is dictated by the current situation with the vaccinations. The rate of vaccinations is doing very well, but it's still only getting to a small portion of the population. We still have a good 75% or so of the people out there who haven't yet received their first shot. So Once we get that to flip-flop, once we have 75% of the people who have at least gotten the first shot, that's when I think we'll begin to start to see a lot more things opening up, a lot more travel to New Orleans and from New Orleans. So we hope that those of you out there will bear with us a little bit longer, have a little bit more patience, because it's really important that we stem the tide, stay the course, as it were. Basically, try to prevent any more of an upward infection rate, similar to what we had in April, May, and June. So hopefully those of us who are here are doing our best to keep wearing our mask, to socially distance, and of course, as hard as it is, not to go to other family members who might be affected, who might get infected by us being too close to them. So again, it's not always a question of us hurting ourselves, but those that we love. And we all know that there have, as many of us know, been quite a number of people affected here. Many people have survived the virus, and there have been quite a number of significant number of people who are no longer with us. And again, we hope that those of you out there are continuing to do what the health officials say we should be doing. I do full remember about a year ago, when the pandemic had just started up, my good friend Mason Wood, who many people from Rivertown know, has done a few things out there, but also had been a videographer for a number of the companies. And he told me that he did not believe that any of the theater companies would be able to achieve any success, get people back into the seats, until a vaccine was developed, and until the vaccine was given out in sufficient numbers so as to allow that to happen. And we were talking about April. He was talking about vaccines. This is full well ahead of Operation Warp Speed, and full well ahead of the Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson vaccines being rolled out. So I give credit to Mason, because he knew exactly what we needed. And he said the words before I ever heard them uttered by anyone else, any health official, or really any other theater person. So my hat's off to you, Mason. You did a really good job of predicting where we'd be, and noting when it would be time for us to get back to the theaters. So in the last several months, we've had some wonderful work being done, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what JPAS has been doing, Jefferson Performing Arts Society. Dennis Asaf, who himself has had a little medical challenge, nothing major, but he had a little small surgery, as I did back in October, and he had to weather that storm, but also deal with the fact that he was not able to have the JPAC, where he has a number of his productions, opened up to more than 25% of the audience. But they did do a wonderful one-man show of Stogie Kenyatta, who we had on this program, talking about his Paul Robeson piece, The World Is My Home. And he did that for a weekend. And that was followed up again with a wonderful show that had been directed by Janet Shea. That was, of course, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Janet did a marvelous job. A number of wonderful actors in that production, and I'm not going to name them all. It was really an ensemble piece, but some really great work. And they were all wearing clear masks, so they were able to be seen. You could see them move their lips. You could hear them through the microphones, etc. But they did have masks on. They were on the stage doing what people are supposed to do during a pandemic, and that is make sure that they protect other cast members and themselves. So again, that was really well done. And then Janet turned the tables on us, because not only did she direct One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but she took time out so that she could actually be a star in the following production that was just closing now this past weekend. We had the final productions for JPAS of the wonderful, I guess you might call it, Chestnut, Arsenic and Old Lace. And of course, she played one of the two elderly sisters who have their way with the older men and dispatch them with a little bit of elderberry wine laced with arsenic and a little dash of cyanide, I believe, arsenic, strychnine, and a little dash of cyanide. Wonderful work again done by the company. Again, I did a review on it, and again, my take on it was that it's just a show for me that has lost a little bit of its oomph because it is an 80-year-old show now, and I hope that we get to see some more shows that are more recent vintage, as I mentioned in the review. Arsenic and Lace for us, which is now 80 years old, is akin to what Our American Cousin was to the 1940s audiences when they were thinking about a play that was 80 years old previous to it. And of course, you may remember Our American Cousin was the play at which Ford's Theater was showing the night that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. That gives you some idea about the length of time in between. So hopefully you can get an idea about the fact that 80 years is 80 years. But that didn't stop me from enjoying the performances. Again, JPAS doing a marvelous job. And they have some comedy acts coming up again this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to the Comedy Zone, but check out their website, jpas.org, and check out to see what's going on with them. Now, meanwhile, Southern Repertory has pretty much confided themselves to just dealing with their third week of the month, where they have a play that they present, it's sort of a reading, and they've been doing that on a regular basis, the third week of the month, and they have a new artistic director who has been brought to Southern Rep. They are looking at making sure that people understand where they are going henceforth, where they've been, and I believe that they're going to emphasize more shows that have something to do that resonate within communities of color. So we will see exactly, with the Black Lives Matter movement that has sprung up from last year. There's going to be a lot of focus on that, from what I can tell, with the Southern Rep people. And again, I don't know that much about the new artistic director. He's not been formally introduced, but I'm looking to see some great things from them. Of course, over at Le Petit Theater, really the oldest community theater here in New Orleans, we had the sad news to report not that long ago of the departure of Maxwell Williams as the artistic director. And again, Maxwell had been doing a splendid job of bringing some first-rate productions down here, including the regional premiere of A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and the regional premiere of Something Rotten, including the two main stars who were in the national touring company, who were on the local Le Petit stage. What a wonderful shot in the arm that was for Le Petit, and just some great work of the local actors who were able to actually work hand in hand on stage with national actors, and people who had done the show before in a really meaningful way. And I was so happy to see those shows done. And of course, Maxwell had done other works. He had presented Horton Foote's Dividing the Estate, and there were several other works that he did that were directed towards the Black community, Black theater that we had over at Le Petit as well. So I think that, basically, I'm hoping to have Maxwell on later on, so as to not second guess, why the reasons for him leaving. But I'm certain that the cost of maintaining the salary for him, as well as Don Scott Cooper, who was brought in as well as the executive director, was probably a little difficult. And I'm certain that it weighs on people's minds when the theater company is unable to open its doors. They're unable to bring people in to get money to be raised to keep the curtain up, and it's difficult. So hopefully, we'll see some good things coming on. I know the season that had been planned for Le Petit, included the first of the two productions of Angels in America. We were looking for some really wonderful works to be produced there, and we hopefully will see it again. As we move towards what would be a return to normalcy. But we have to wait a while for that later. Again, there are some works that are being done. I know that Cutting Edge Theater in Slidell is still doing some work. I have again noted that we are looking forward to seeing some works from some of the smaller companies. No Dream Deferred has just announced that they're having some other people join their company as well. So we hope to get some word from them as to what's going on with their company. But not a lot going on in terms of people presenting a lot of shows. Now, let me just say that before I go on any further, that if you know it's March, and as I mentioned, the Ides of March, you know that the end of March is always a very special time of year here in New Orleans, and that, of course, is the Tennessee Williams Festival, which happens always around the time of Tennessee Williams' birthday, which, of course, would be March the 26th. So usually, whatever the dates are around the 26th of March, they hold their festival. Well, of course, this year, because the festival had to go virtual, the Saints and Sinners LGBTQ conference that would normally be coupled with it at that same time had to go this past week. And the Scholars Conference that is always held in conjunction with the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival had to actually be pushed up a week. So that's going to be held this weekend. And the remainder of the festival will be held coming up at the end of March as normal. A lot of it is virtual. Again, really all of it's virtual, but a lot of it's live, and some of it is taped. And they'll be bringing things back from the archive. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'd like to kind of share out, those of you who don't know, TennesseeWilliams.net. That's the site to go to. And I'd like to just really very quickly go over a couple of the items that we're going to have for the Tennessee Williams Festival. And I'm going to share out the screen. Hopefully, we can see the screen and me as well. This is on the site, and what I love about this is if you go to the schedule here, they've got a number of items that are here that'll pull it up. So it's all virtual now. Again, this is going to be all the different panels dealing with the scholars, researching all of Tennessee Williams' life and his work, etc. So that's weekend 2. They celebrate 35 years, but then they're going to have some wonderful opportunities on Wednesday, March the 24th. A Vieux Carré Cabaret will be happening with Vin Santos, legendary drag icon here locally, the cover girl, if you will, the cover lady of Poppy Tooker's latest drag queen brunch booklet, book if you want to check that out with all the recipes. And then on Thursday, several different discussions that are all free from the archives, an interview with Ann Rice. You'll be able to get all of these out. So I really recommend you go on the website and go check it out. All of these will be accessible from your home. You can watch all of these in your jammies if you want to. And then Jose Torres Tama, who we had on our show not that long ago, along with a host of other Latinx performers, including Jennifer Pagan, Michael Quest Moore, Jose Fermin Ceballos, Margie Perez, Lynette Luna, Melinda Palacio, all will be partaking in Theater Without Borders, or as they like to say, Teatro Sin Fronteras. That'll be on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, coming up on that day. And then Friday is Tennessee's birthday. A lot of different discussions that they're going to have. David Kaplan from the Provincetown Tennessee Williams Festival will be up. He'll be talking with Dr. Kenneth Holditch, as well as John Waters from 2015. And then a play that I was pleased to see with Beth Bartley and Brenda Kern performing a stage reading of At Liberty, directed by Paul Willis. You'll be able to see that as well. I saw it, and only a handful of people, maybe 60 people, could get inside the venue where it was in the French Quarter. So now more people will probably be able to see it than ever had seen it during its original run back in 2016. So check that out as well. Then, of course, Eric Paulson's interview with Tennessee Williams. Then Brian Batt will be talking with Kenneth Holditch, the scholar, Tennessee Williams' work, and the great New Orleans influence, of course, on so many other people. And again, we love to see him from time to time. And then later on that night, you're going to be able to have a couple of other things that I think will be of wonderful interest to us in the theater community. First off, at 5 to 5:45, the NOLA Project will be presenting 3 plays that have been presented by the Provincetown Theater Festival in the past: Lord Byron's Love Letter, Green Eyes, and The Lady of Larkspur Lotion. And that will be a ticket event, but it'll cost you $5. $5. Fantastic. Tim McNally is going to talk about Sazeracs, my favorite drink. And then, of course, a tribute reading, $20 to see that. And among the different people will be, of course, movie star and Tony Award winner Alan Cumming, Brenda Curran, Rodney Hicks, and Magnuson, Amy Ryan, Mink Stoll, Jamie Storms, and those of you who remember L.A. Law and so many other works, Blair Underwood will be the guest, and that will be a ticketed event for $20. It's called The Place That I Was Made For, a reference, of course, to what Tennessee had referred to New Orleans when he was writing home. Again, on Saturday, some wonderful pieces. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, John Patrick Shanley will be interviewed by Peggy Scott Laborde at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're going to talk about also the Rose Tattoo prior to that. And then after that, later on in the evening, between 2 to 3, Augustin Carrero is going to be here to talk about Tennessee Williams 101, a new book that he's got out. And I think it's going to be wonderful to have him on. Matter of fact, we're going to have him on our program. You'll see that in just a little bit. I'll give you the dates for that Augustin will be on with us. And then later on that evening, around 6 o'clock, my fellow theater critic, reviewer Brian Sands will be interviewing Tony Award-winning actor John Cameron Mitchell of Hedwig and the Angry Inch. And he'll be talking about Tennessee Williams's The Seven Descents of Myrtle, also known as The Kingdom of Earth. So we'll see what's going on with John Cameron Mitchell. And this was done at the Beauregard Kai's house in the New Orleans French Quarter. So keep that in mind as well. And then, of course, on Sunday, I put in a plug for my friend Poppy Tooker. She's got a New Orleans jazz brunch, culinary affair, a visit with T. Martin from Commander's Palace, and a whole bunch of other people are going to be stopping by. And then Rick Bragg is going to have some things too. Again, more attuned towards the book end of the festival, the literary end of the festival, rather than the theater portion. That's going to be pretty much for the people who are into theater. I think that's pretty much going to take care of most of what we're dealing with. But I did want to let everybody know about that because I really think that they do a great job. And again, Paul Willis, who is the director of the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival, had a really difficult job to make this a virtual event and to really run with it, make it really a great opportunity for everybody. So I hope that people will know that Paul has to have a lot of people give him support this year, maybe more than a lot of others, because the events cost a lot less to put on, but they have to get a lot more money as a result. A lot more people have to attend. So keep in mind that even the small $5 events, etc., they all go to a good cause. And I know you'd appreciate knowing that the Tennessee Williams Festival will be back next year. So give them a little heads up. If you can give them a little handout and enjoy the festival at the same time, that would be great. I'm sure there are other opportunities. You can go on TennesseeWilliams.net and check that out. Meanwhile, I know people are going to wonder, what did I bring to drink tonight? This is a traditional martini, dry vermouth, with a little bit of vodka as well as gin. So it was actually 2 portions of gin, a portion of vodka, and a half portion of dry vermouth, and some olives. I kind of felt like having that tonight because I've been watching a program on Netflix, which I've really enjoyed. And I know a lot of people discovered it last year, and I was turned on to it by my good friend Catherine Talbot, called The Queen's Gambit. And I just thought that was wonderful. I'm really enjoying it. Those of you who have favored the world of chess, that's what it's sort of about. And it's of course fictitious, dealing with a female lady chess player. But I would say that it probably is based in part on somebody like a Bobby Fischer from that same period, and how they coped. So hopefully we'll have Carol coming on, and we'll talk about that. Let me just, again, go over a couple of the things that we're going to have. As I mentioned, we're going to have Augustin Carrero of the Tennessee Williams Theater Company joining us next week on Monday. It'll be at 8 o'clock like the normal times. Again, the author of Tennessee 101. He's going to promote his book, and also his fellow co-artistic director from that company, Nick Shackelford, will hopefully be with us as well. We're looking to have as many people involved with that. And then the following Friday, we're looking to have the playwright Tennessee Williams honored. We're looking to have several people take part in some readings. And I don't want to call out the person who was able to provide me some of the Tennessee Williams work that I'm going to be able to share. But if anybody is an actor and would like to take part in a reading, if you've never had an opportunity to do a reading before, or perhaps want to have the opportunity to take part and enjoy some of Tennessee Williams's works, we're giving everybody an opportunity. I'm asking everybody who wants to be involved to please email me, and this is the way to reach me: editor@ccjn.net. That's for the Crescent City Jewish News. And if you send me an email saying I'd like to be involved with the reading, so far we have, I believe, 3 ladies who have expressed an interest, and you can follow the thread that's on the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group and check that out. And you can just say, hey, I'd like to as well, and hopefully I can private message you, or just go ahead and send me an email saying, hey, I saw you tonight, or I saw the information. I'd be interested in being involved. I would say that most of the works are for adults, a lot of females, of course. There are some pieces there that we can have men read as well as women. And I'd like to, basically, let people know about that as well. Let me see if I can send, Carol her link again, because apparently she wasn't able to get to it for whatever reason. Let me go ahead and invite her again. She's just emailing me. Let's see if we can get her back in. And I'll let her know that hopefully she'll get that. In any event, she'll be joining us shortly. And again, just want to let everybody know that we've got Augustin coming up. I don't have yet the program finalized for this coming Friday. However, I do have a special Tennessee Williams group that may be presenting as well. I don't want to announce it until I've got it actually finalized. So, all right, everybody. Let me first of all let everybody know that we're pleased to be able to have our first guest back in. This has been a little bit of time away, but as I said, I'm regrouping. I'm basically trying to get enthused about theater again. And so, without any further ado, I want to have everybody please to help me welcome our guest tonight. And for some reason, I want to make sure. Some reason, her banner didn't come up. So let me introduce once again, everybody. Here comes Carol Eshelman. And congratulations, you're in our stream. There we are. How are
I,
you doing?
I am coming to you from my car. I literally just got out of teaching my acting class.
That's okay. You know what? Driving and texting's not allowed, but driving and zooming is okay, I guess.
Just to be clear, I am parked. The vehicle is stationary. This is just the best spot at the moment.
Do you have anything in your car to drink, by the way?
Oh, I have some water. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, at least you got water because we don't have anybody come into the group unless they can actually have something to drink. So, Carol, I'm gonna unveil the new logo. And what do you think? Can you see it in the upper right hand corner there? So this is your new venture, and again, it's called the Open Call Theater Company.
Yes.
And again, I don't know that much about it. I know that I've heard that you're going to be working with a lot of different people. Is it mostly children, youth, or?
Yeah. 6th through 12th grade is the audience, is the group that we're aiming to work with. The staff members that I have on staff. So our musical director is Megan Kessel. And our choreographer is going to be Callie Russell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. Yeah.
And
yeah, and again, you have. I noticed that I got a friend request from somebody else who's with the company. There's another person that you're involved with in the company.
Say it one more time.
Aren't you involved with somebody else in the company who's a member of the company as well, helping you?
Yes. Also have John Giardina.
Right. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. My administrative director. So I'm taking care. I'm the artistic managing director, and John is the administrative director. He's helping me stay organized and everything.
Now I know you left Rummel Win about how long ago?
In August.
August. Okay. So you had been with the Genesians, and the Genesians had been very influential with Rivertown, and I think that was due to your efforts, don't you think? More than.
Yeah, I've steered a lot of students over to Rivertown. The work that they've done over there, they've just been like very welcoming to young people, and they love to have young people working on their productions. There are several Genetians that are in Descendants right now.
Yes. And are you involved with that as well?
Yes, I'm stage managing that one and running the sound cues from the back of the house. So
I would say that that's probably one of the least of the Disney pieces that I know of. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is involved?
It's it's new. The rights for it just came out, and the work that's been done on this show is phenomenal. Like these kids are incredible. It's if you're familiar with the Disney Channel movies, Descendants it's like a combination of all three Descendants movies kind of condensed into one. But it's all the really good songs. Like I dance the entire show. It's just the music's so good.
So can you tell me a little bit about what the Descendants is about? You mentioned, yeah. What's the premise?
So it's the children of the Disney villains.
Okay. So Cruella de Vil's children, or more.
The main characters are really like Maleficent's daughter, the evil queen from Snow White, her daughter, and then the two the sons of Jafar and Cruella de Vil. Those are the four main characters. And
wow.
And now all of the Disney villains have been kind of locked away on this island called the Island of the Lost, kind of separated from the rest of society, because they're evil, right? And but on another island called Oridon is where all of the kids of like the good guys live, and obviously,
so Ariel and the prince, their kids.
The main people that you see over there is the son of Belle and the Beast.
Okay.
And the son of Cinderella and Prince Charming, and the daughter of Sleeping Beauty. So,
Okay.
so you can imagine how the daughter of Maleficent and the daughter of Sleeping Beauty kind of get along, right? Not
And are there any of the songs that I would have known? Have they been? Are they standalone? Or are they all specific to the movies?
they're specific to the movies. They're specific to
Okay.
do take what's really fun is they do take a couple of Disney classics and kind of rehash them. There is when the villains, when the evils first arrive in Oradon, you get greeted with this really cool little remix of Be Our Guest. And when the
Okay.
kids and it starts off like normal Be Our Guest, and then it kind of goes into like a little hip hop thing. It's really well done. Carl Harrod is the musical director for Descendants, and he has done like a phenomenal job with the kids. The voices are incredible, like really incredible. We had we had 112 people audition for this show.
And how many are in the show?
About a little over 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
That many kids on stage, and you're
Not
able to socially distance, or they're doing different groups. There's 40,
there's
but
different
you're only doing 20 or something, right? Or
so the way that we kept it as safe as possible is they were rehearsed, and not everybody is in every number. Different groups are in different numbers. A lot of the main people are double cast, so
gotcha.
that there were backups and stuff like that. Um, and the and that's how we kind of maintained separation. The really incredible thing, like, we were super strict about all of the space requirements and the boundaries between the kids and the wearing of the mask and stuff like that. I mean, these kids were rehearsing in mask and doing all this. Like, when you see the choreography and stuff in the show, they've got face shields for the show, but you need to remember that, like, the entire time that we were rehearsing, they were rehearsing all of this like really intense choreography in mask and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah, it's like what Ginger Rogers said. You have to do everything that Fred Astaire did, but do it backwards and in heels. In a pandemic, you got to do it all, with a mask on as well. It's
yeah,
crazy.
so
So again, they have like a purple cast and a blue cast, or like a pink cast and a green cast or something like that.
yeah, it's purple and blue. That's great. And yeah, that's just we were super. I know Kelly is super, super proud. Kelly Fucci directed. And I know she's super, super proud of the fact that, like, we rehearsed this entire show and never had to, and kept our, restrictions and everything so safe that we never had to, like, quarantine it. We had them in groups so that
Yeah,
if, um, if it had started to spread, we could just quarantine one group. You know what I mean?
right.
But never had to quarantine like a single group or anything during the entire procedure. We Anybody that had any sort of contact, they were not allowed to come back to rehearsal until they had a negative test and had the certain number of hours and stuff like that. So,
Right.
and everybody um everybody was really good about abiding by that. Some of the kids went virtual so that the only people they were coming in contact with were the people in the cast. You know,
So now, yeah, now I know that AEA, Actors Equity Association, has a long list of rules for not only the actors but the stage managers.
yes,
Rivertown is not a party to that particular agreement, as I understand it. Right?
no, the,
But so what kind of rules do they adhere to? Are they self-administered, or are they from some other group that administers for community theater nationwide?
self-administered, but I mean, a lot of guidelines and stuff like that are things that we kept in mind.
Yeah,
Um, stuff that we followed, like making sure that people tested, that if there was any sort of like, we had there were a couple of people who had to travel for one reason or another, and they weren't allowed back until they had a test.
Test, yeah.
So
Okay.
so a
Uh,
lot
so-
of
yeah.
people got tested a lot.
So, again, what a lot of people don't understand, and I'm going to have a show coming up about stage managing, because, when you talk about the people who are in Actors Equity, et cetera, it's open to all actors and actresses, et cetera, and stage managers.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very important part of the pie, and they do a lot of work that is sort of unheralded. A lot of people don't know what a stage manager does. Can you, in 10 words or less, tell me what a stage manager does? Putting you on the spot.
I think the best analogy for stage management is steering a ship. Is I think the best analogy, because you've got the director, that's the captain,
right,
path that shows you where you're going to go and stuff like that,
right.
And stage manager that takes the captain's vision and stuff like that and thinks about the bits and pieces that make it happen. So
my take on it would be fulfilling the vision of the director.
Yes.
And so that's my take on it. Now, in film, it's different, because the director really has he's not only the captain, he decides what happens, what the final version is, because it's his vision of what ends up on the screen. But a director, will call upon the services of a choreographer, a lighting director, a stage scenic designer, a sound designer, and he's the captain. But all those other people, like lieutenants, they have to do their own thing too. And then the stage manager, after the director leaves, has to make sure that all of those parts are still working right, that they're all seamlessly connecting, right?
Especially once the show is open, and this show has had is having a pretty long run. Number one, because we just keep selling tickets, like audiences are really digging it, and it's great. And because of social distancing rules and stuff, we can't consider like exactly how it had been before, obviously. So there's less tickets available per show to keep the audience safe. So there's just been more shows, but like once a show's open, especially, like I keep in touch with all the technical team and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, this prop didn't seem to be working right in this scene. Like, is there something that we can do? Hey, this person's costume got snagged. You need to look at this, kind of thing. Those kind of little things. Just to continuously, and I have a good view from the booth in the back. I watch the show every single time, and there's so I have seen Descendants 15 times now.
That's pretty good. Now, before we get back to your company, because I want to talk about that, I think that it's important to expose the kids to as much theater, especially during a time when they don't have a lot of other outlets. And one of the other things about these sorts of shows is that for every kid that's there, you've got the possibility of having two parents that might be coming in the theater, and maybe even four grandparents, that would be coming in as well. So that helps to put a lot of people in the seats. And who wouldn't want to see their grandkid or see their son or daughter on stage performing? So it keeps that whole theater thing going for them, and those that have the bug, it gives them an outlet, which I think is so important. Now, speaking of young kids who have the bug, let's talk a little bit about your brand here, Open Call Theater Company.
Yes.
Tell me how this came about. When did it actually come into fruition?
So things that so aspects of Open Call are have grown out a lot of the work that I did at Rummel, and some of the things that I had put into motion at Rummel with the group over there is kind of stuff that I wanted to build on and continue with. So a lot the bits and pieces are things that like I've already done and already know work. So that's one of the good things. And one of my donors was like, the thing that why I feel confident in donating to this and stuff like that is because like I've seen you do it. Like I've seen this happen. I know that I know that you're not just like going out on a whim and trying something different. Like this is stuff that that works. One of the things that I have always been a big proponent of is the fact that theater is encompassed by so many different moving parts and pieces. And so often, the focus gets put on the performers and
Yeah.
just the performers. But the technical side of theater, um, and the part of the pit musicians as well are aspects that kind of don't get looked at, and kids have talents and interest in these areas, and they really don't have like a huge outlet to explore that. So and that was one of the things that we had built up really strongly at when I was at Rummel, was the fact that the techies, because a lot of times, a lot of places, the techies feel like bottom level and stuff like that, that they're not as that they're made to feel like not as important and stuff. And that was something that I always felt strongly about, is like
Yeah.
my knew that they knew to respect the tech,
Right.
and that's something that I think was really important. And so the main thing about open call is that there's 3 different tracks that kids who are interested can choose from. They can do the performer track, the technician track, or the musician track. And they also have the option to audition for not just one, but all 3. And the whole program is built around a season of 8 shows. Now it sounds like a lot, but half of those shows are one acts, because the way that it works is there's 4 different levels, and each level has a play and a musical that goes along with it. So one of the other things that I'm very passionate about is the fact that being a triple threat, you hear that a lot of time in theater, that actors, they need to be triple threats. That part of being a triple threat means dancing, singing, and acting. And a lot of times the emphasis on the dancing and the singing is done really strongly, and people don't think about the acting. And I really think that any actor, even if they plan to do musical theater for the rest of their life, need
Hmm.
to have an exposure to straight plays as well.
Yeah.
Um, so every level has a play and a musical, and like MTI kind of already has this structure built into their their titles, where you have the Broadway kids version of stuff, where the shows are about like 30 minutes, and they're kind of condensed, kind of simpler versions of the main thing. And then you have the Broadway junior level, that's still a one act, but they're usually like around 60 minutes, and they sort to introduce like a little bit more complicated material. And then you have the school editions, where it's like almost the full show, but just with
Hmm.
a couple of things like simplified just for younger voices and stuff. And then you've got the full version of shows, and that's how
Right.
our are figured out. So what happens is, at the beginning of the season, the kids do one audition and they get their level. And any kid that auditions and gets a certain level, they get casting priority for the shows in that level.
Okay. So
So
again, I'm trying to get a little bit of a feel for this. This is new, right? I mean, this is the first. So how many people do you have signed up so far, and what's the compliment you're looking for? Going forward, what's the number that you want to have?
I'm looking. I mean, the good thing is that I can expand it to include like a whole bunch of kids, because number of shows. If I'll be super happy if I have 30 to 40 for the first season. We've got a number of students signed up, and the thing that I'm really happy about is, so the kids can choose to either come in as a company member, which means like, hey, I am all in. Put me in any show, any role that you think I would be suited for. Or kids with tighter schedules and stuff can come in and say, hey, like, I know that my schedule is not going to permit me to do every show, but see this show right here, I really want to do that one, and I want to be come in as a guest artist for that. So
Gotcha.
choose to either come in as a guest artist and say, hey, I can only do these specific shows, or they can come in as a company member and go all in. And almost everybody that I have signed up so far is coming in as a company member, which is super encouraging, and I like that a lot.
The 8 titles, do you have them all
Yes.
memorized? What are you doing?
So the theme, because I like themes, so the theme for our first season is a fairy tale season. At the bronze level, so that's our beginner level. I found a little 30-minute musical of Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay.
That's really cute, has dancing bats and everything. It's super fun. And the bronze play is The Trial of Goldilocks. So we put Goldilocks on trial for what she's done to the 3 bears and stuff. It's really funny. It's really cute. Then at the
Wasn't there one like that David Tringali did, I think?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And then the silver level, the musical is Shrek Jr.
Okay.
Everybody loves Shrek.
Sure.
Music's fantastic. The silver play, I found a 60-minute version of The Hobbit.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that The Hobbit as opposed to Lord of the Rings? So that's just The Hobbit that was made into 3. I don't know how they made The Hobbit, which was a book that was this thin, into a movie, and then another movie, and then a third movie. So
that train is what was happening. But
yeah,
this is probably a lot more to the level of the book than what the movies did. But
right.
Minute version of The Hobbit, and it's super imaginative and stuff, the way that everything is done on stage and the way that the dragon is done. Super excited about that. And then the gold level, so gold level musical is going to be Big Fish edition.
Oh, I love Big Fish. Now, is this a Big Fish Junior edition, or is it Big Fish School edition?
2 acts. It's still 2 acts. It's just that it takes some of the songs, switches the keys a bit, takes out some of the more complicated harmonies, simplifies it just slightly, shortens the show just slightly, but it's still 2 acts.
Interesting.
And still,
I'd love to see that. That's it's one of those shows that they've done at NOCA, and I know they've done a couple of places around here, but I haven't really seen a full version of it here. On a big stage. It's unfortunate, that
such a beautiful show.
It is. And for those of you who hadn't seen it on Broadway or whatever, I've got the sound, the original cast. I've got the obviously those of you who saw the film upon which it was based. There's a lot that's there too. I mean, Danny DeVito and Ewan McGregor, I think, and I mean a whole cast of people. I'm trying to remember the girl who played in there.
Don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, very lovely cast, very lovely cast. And then now you got bronze, you got silver, and you got gold. So gold. Are we moving up to a platinum level or anything beyond that?
Diamond highest, but the gold level play. Now this is exciting. Found a stage version of the Never Ending Story.
The Never Ending Story with Bastion, right?
Yeah, with Bastion.
Yeah, and the dragon. Yeah.
And dragon, Falcor, the love
Falcor.
Dragon.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a lot of puppets, a lot of work for that. It's going to be really, really cool. Brian Rosenthal, tech director, and we have sat there and just giggled over ideas and stuff for Never Ending Story. We're really, and that's going to be the first show in the season. So.
Okay. And then the diamond level musical is going to be what?
Into the Woods.
Ooh. Now
Into
you're going to have to go sub to top the one that was done at Rivertown, because that really was
that was
a wonderful
great.
version. That was really wonderful. You know, I know that you know it had a lot going with that. There was a version that was done also at Summer Lyric at Tulane not that long ago. It was also really wonderfully done.
I love the show. You know, like one of my alums, he said, because I had done it at Rummel, and he was also in the one at Rivertown as well, Diavion. He was like, you know, if I could do one show and only do one show for the rest of my life, because it's just so great.
All right, so you got to tell me if somebody is interested in getting their grandchild, their daughter, their son, however motivated as they are right now, how do they contact you? What do they have to do? Well, you know, what's the next step to get into the Open Call Theater Company?
So the next step, we have a website, www.opencalltheatercompany.com, and signups are open now for auditions. Our auditions themselves are going to be in July, so you have but you should go ahead and sign up now to get the best spots and everything. And then yeah, you can reach out to me on we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram. Also another thing that we're doing as part of the company is we started the Open Call podcast. Me and John Giardina are running that, and we just did our first episode. We interviewed Augustin Carrero about his book Tennessee Williams 101,
who will be here next week.
Oh, great!
That we mentioned again. I mentioned it before you got on here. So Augustin's going to be on next Monday night at 8:00, and he'll be here. So you have a podcast with him, and we'll have him right here as well. For those that can't make your podcast, they can check out the live stream that we'll have with Augustin. And by the way, Nick Carrera will also be on, his fellow artistic director. So we're going to have both of them on. And again, Augustin's going to be taking part in the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival. He's doing a piece called Tennessee 101, and he's going to be talking about his book. But I think they're going to ask questions, and it's going to be like a rapid fire. You know, hey professor, tell me about this. What did Tennessee do? So it's going to be kind of fun. I think it's going to be great. So again, we go to the website one more time, opencalltheatercompany.com. Check that out. And again, in case you're wondering, our guest tonight, Carol Eshelman. I mean, it's been great to have you talk about this. And again, this is the Open Call Theater Company. And again, those of you who are checking them out in terms of their logo.
Thanks.
That's it. Now what is that? That's like a it's like a folder of some sort there that's open, huh?
Like, to me, the kind why I went with that, it kind of like, to me, it looks like an open door, and that's one of the main reasons why we call it open call, because we want the door to be open to as many people as possible, as many aspects of theater as possible. So to me, it looks like an open door. It also looks like an open script. You know,
Gotcha.
we're just opening things up, and I think as things begin to open up and everything, as COVID starts to be on the wane, that openness is something to embrace.
Carol, I want to thank you for being here tonight. You know, this is sort of last minute. I had some, as I mentioned, some issues in the family health wise, not with me, but you know, I had to deal with it as well. And plus, you and I both are going through the funk, if you will, the depression of not having Mardi Gras this year. And I know how much we love Mardi Gras and how much we missed it, you know. So
Floats in the Oaks, and as I was driving through Floats in the Oaks, I was like so happy to see the floats and everything, but I was like, I don't know if the floats with people not throwing me anything is making me less or more depressed about not having Mardi Gras this year.
In any event, we know it'll be back hopefully next year. Maybe not exactly the same as it has been, but I think we're going to have enough people that by next October we'll start to have those coronation balls, etc., and then you know, hopefully the regular balls and the parades. So they may end up having to scale back the parades a bit or whatever this next year. I don't know, but I know that I'm ready and rearing to go.
Oh,
So hopefully I'll see you on the floor of a ball. And in the meantime,
absolutely.
again, I know I'll see you, in one of the many iterations of the shows that you're doing. And just feel free to let me know so I can let people know on stepping out a little bit more about this. So I can't do anything. This week is our 35th anniversary that Peggy Scott, Laborde had actually started up the show. So we're going to have what we call an evergreen. The show is going to be really not dealing with anything for this specific week, but it's going to be something that's going to deal in generalities about the past 35 years. Survey, what's been going on in different aspects. Poppy obviously will cover food. I'll do theater. Peggy will deal with entertainment in general. So we're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, like I said, I'd like to hear more about what you're doing, and I want to thank you for coming on tonight. And just if you don't mind, stick around a little bit. I'm going to ask you to just hang with me a little bit when I come back. Again, Carol Eshleman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us tonight. My name again, Alan Smason. This is NOLA Theater Talk. You can see this all the time on the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group on Mondays and Fridays for the most part. Also on the theatercriticism.com Facebook page and on my own YouTube channel. Again, I appreciate you all being with me tonight. Don't forget, this next Monday night at 8 o'clock, we'll welcome Augustin Carrero of Tennessee 101 fame. And then on March the 26th, we'll have a number of people doing readings in honor of Tennessee Williams and essentially honoring his memory. And thank you all for being here tonight. And again, as always, I will see you at the theater.